What's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your morning. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. Here we go. So I did take a couple trades during pre-market hours. I'm going to explain kind of like my thought process, why I took them and stuff like that. I actually want to give a huge shout out to one of our traders within, I'm not even sure if he's going to be tuning in. But it was just a little conversation. I don't know your first or last name, but you have your username as little. The reason I want to shout you out is because I shared that I sold my last position on ticker symbol DGAS, and he was like, why? That was perfect wedge on DGAS. And then I explained that, check the pattern /NG on how it was trading during pre-market hours. It was bouncing off the middle VWAP, and that's the pattern I saw, and that's why I decided to sell. And then we went ahead and he was like, I would never question you. I'd rather you're the teacher and stuff like that. I want you guys to know that, like, I think one of the coolest things about okay, so you're right here. So one of the coolest things about like a networking group, which is like what we are, is for me to share my opinion and then for you to be able to share yours, right? So if you would have held and there's a reason behind that, then that 100% makes sense and that should be shared. We've talked about it multiple times. I'm extremely conservative and I wanted just to simply share like why I decided to sell, which doesn't mean that that is the only like correct option, right? There's so many people that have so many different trading styles and they're extremely talented that trade completely different than me. So I want you guys to know that, like, if there's any time that I sell something and it doesn't make sense to you, or I buy something and it doesn't make sense to you, to point it out is, as long, again, there's nothing wrong with like pointing something out or just wanting more clarification, as long as it's not like passive aggressive and stuff like that. But ultimately, I was actually really surprised right now that that DGAS recovered this much. It sold off quite a bit. So based on where it closed at on Friday and the lowest point that it was at during pre-market hours, I mean that's a decent amount to be down and then to fully recover by market open. So again, to kind of share how I traded during pre-market hours, I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna click show trades and then you guys can check it out. So bought here, sold here, only 100 shares. Bought, consolidated, sold here. I mean, that's really just it. I should be up about $300 to $400. I'm still doing the blind P&L, so I'm not really paying too much attention on how much it is that I'm up. But I know on this last position, it was quite a bit because of my position size. So it was still not a huge amount. You guys can see that I only got filled on one order right here. That was my mistake. I tried to add more to my position as it was showing signs of an uptrend, just didn't get filled fully. And I was like, there's no reason to force it or anything like that. So I just decided to kind of like leave it alone with that. But just to kind of explain a little bit more about this, if you see like there's quite a bit of a pullback right now on DGAS, but if you see like every time that it decided to sell, it was the time where natural gas, this is the pattern that I saw. I saw natural gas push up, I saw it pull back and bounce off the SMA line and middle VWAP. It pushed up, pulled back, bounced off the SMA line and middle VWAP, pushed up, pulled back, same little thing going on there. So that's the pattern that I saw. So every time that I saw natural gas peaked out, I would take a position, and then when it would begin to sell off, I would try to average up due to pre-market hours and how low the volume was and how big the spread was between the ask and the bid. It was very difficult for me to get filled at exact price points. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So we got a really nice push up right now on natural gas, which is a nice little recovery for UGAS as of right now. Because of the pullback on DGAS, this might make for a good entry point. I kind of have to wait out and see if it's going to validate the SMA line as a support. Market just opened, so there could be a completely shift of direction. I would just hate to get in and then ride this thing all the way back down. So that's why I'm going to just give it a little bit before I decide to get back in. But I just wanted to ask, how are you guys all doing this morning? Is the explanation that I just talked about, like why I traded DGAS, how I bought it, why I sold it, does that all make sense? So I'm just gonna have my order ready here while we wait. So just 100 shares, kind of leave it at that, and gonna bring that thing down for sure. So doing pretty good, really excited, up $400. Super happy to hear that, Ken. Nice. Yep. I like that. What's going on, Matt? Hope you're having a great start to your morning. Do you wait for confirmation on the EMA line for D? Yeah. So normally before I add more to my position size, yes. During pre-market hours, it's extremely difficult for me to get filled. Because the spread is so big, like you can see the spread is pretty decent right now. Like this is the bid and this is the ask, and it's about a 20-cent spread. Sometimes during pre-market hours, it could be $1. And if there's not enough people buying and selling, so like averaging up is almost like not even an option. That's why in the morning I was not even so focused on trying to go in. If you see my position size from pre-market hours, it was 100 shares to 175 shares. And I would add it in 100 shares and then I would add 75. I normally add 100, and then 75 or 50 or something like that. But that's when there's a lot of activity, a lot of volatility and stuff like that. And I know that I can get filled. If there's a sudden drop of price or sudden push of price, it's going to be very difficult for me because the spread is so wide. What's going on, Tommy? STNG. All right, nice little push up. Is there certain news that drove the price up? Is there anything that we should be aware of? I really like this kind of like horizontal pattern. It looks like it just recently went through a reverse stock split though. So that's something that we have to be well aware of. Looks like based off previous patterns, a nice little support right around $16. A nice little resistance right around 20. Here we go, right? I like it, but it's just recently breaking above the EMA line. So if we look at closer time frames, we'll probably see this thing pull back before it continues to uptrend. So again, just be sure to look at the different time frames to not be so quick to like enter as soon as you think that you have the confirmation. If you feel comfortable, then 100%, all power to you. I just think it needs a little bit more time to confirm that uptrend. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I see a good amount of people are, so we got Don trading UWT. We have a lot of people that were messaging me about the pattern on /CL. How do you guys feel about that? What's going on, Brody? What's up? Thoughts on Tesla going up right now? We talked about it briefly yesterday. This is my opinion. There's so many people that are sharing their different opinions about Tesla as well. What I looked at was a 180-day analysis, which I think it reacts really nicely to. Yes, it is showing signs of an uptrend, but as of right now, based off previous patterns, the SMA line was acting as a resistance, which is this green line right here, right? Acting as a resistance right here, it makes sense on why it can act as a resistance. Yes, it can push above it, but we have no confirmation just yet. I like the MACD. I like the MACD and how it's trying to show signs of an uptrend. I don't like the RSI. I don't know if it's going to be enough to drive the price up. So we can simply set our alerts and follow up with it. But I think it might need a little bit more time. That's so cool, Sean. Super happy to hear that. Hanging out with the kids, the family, I like it. So yeah, it looks like you're talking about JDST and JNEG, right? Okay, I like that. So you're going to be waiting about 1 to 2 hours to identify the direction for the day. I like that. Being extremely patient. It's almost sometimes one of the most difficult parts. Of course, appreciate that. Thank you. What's going on, Adonis Flores? What's up? What's going on, Chase? Nice. 1% on TQs. How are those doing today? Wow. Aggressive sell-off on SQs. How's this? Is it pulling back yet? Yeah, it's still selling off. Okay. And then TQs is still slowly pushing up. Wow, really nice push up. Okay. I like that. So TQs is the one pushing up today. Between UWT and DWT, it looks like UWT is still the one showing signs of an uptrend. So if we look at /CL, we could most likely see that correlation as well, right? Really nice, consistent uptrend. very simple to see kind of like the low points and the high points. As long as the patterns still stay relevant, you still have to manage your risk with uptrend patterns if the pattern is broken. But as of right now, it's been very consistent, so it makes sense. UWT looks like it might be the move today for forward/CL. And then we got TVIX, that's going to be in correlation to SQs, which is selling off today. SQs is selling off today. And then we got DGAS and UGAS. I still think it needs a little bit more time for it to identify its direction. So I'm not going to be so quick to, pull the trigger and be like, hey, DGAS is the move today, or natural gas is trending down. I think we could give it a little bit more time. One thing that I just noticed is that on this push up, it pushed up above the middle VWAP, pushed up near the SMA line. Looks like it got rejected. So the old support level of the SMA line might be acting as a new resistance. So it might be something to look out for. I want to see a break below the SMA line before I add, I want to see a break below the middle VWAP and EMA line before I decide to add more to my position size on ticker symbol DGAS. Yeah, I like that question. So I like the question as in like he's asking like can we do technical analysis on TD Ameritrade and then purchase on Fidelity? 100%. There's people that use TD Ameritrade. There we go. So it just broke below. There's people that are using TD Ameritrade to do their technical analysis, but use Robinhood to trade, right? So it's whatever you feel the most comfortable with. If you like the analysis platform from TOS, but you like the execution rate for Fidelity or whatever brokerage it is that you use, great. I think people like there's so many different platforms out there, and we all use different ones. There's not one that's like best or better than the other. It's all a matter of opinion, right? It's like when people say, Toyotas are better than Hondas or Fords are better than Chevys. It's like, it's your opinion, and great, like you're entitled to it, and yeah. Yeah, that's actually maybe we can run one of those polls later throughout the week. I'll run it past the team and see if that's something that like we want to do. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm gonna give it a little bit more time to confirm and show signs of an uptrend. I just would hate to add to my position size and then for this thing to continue to downtrend. So I'm just trying to play it a little bit more conservative, as I know I'm already like in the green for the day. So you asked me to break down ARAY. Do any of you guys have some exciting plans for the day? Maybe like work. What do you got? Like school, a date. What are you guys up to today? Learning something new. In my honest opinion, and people can share their own, I think it's extremely overbought. Yes, it is showing signs of an uptrend just based off of previous patterns. Again, I don't know anything about this company. All I could say is based off previous patterns and trying to focus on good deals, this is not the best deal possible. Super overbought, super overextended. It makes more sense that it has more potential to lose than it does to make. So, ice fishing, what the heck? I've never, I didn't know that was like a real thing. That's. I hope you still get your work done, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Waiting for this baby to come out. Oh, okay. School in 6 hours in Australia. Oh, super cool. I'm holding my meeting to start the day trading club after class today. That's so cool. Business lunch? Oh, yes, I'm excited. Nice. Five-hour trip to SC? Is that South Carolina? Buying a new Honda CBR 500. Is that a flip or is that for enjoyment? Morning team, what's going on, Billy? Ice fishing is really... I've never heard... I guess I'm just not from places where people ice fish. That's so sweet, Samuel. Super happy to have you as part of the team, and let's just keep it consistent, right? Let's make sure we never stop learning. Nice. No, for myself. I like that. What about Tommy, wait, you're gonna buy one today? So are you gonna buy it through a dealership or no? I used to buy the you said was that a CBR? A CBR 500. So I bought a CBR, I think it's a 600 and then a CBR 1000. We just want to make sure that you get it for a good deal. So if you have any questions about like what it's worth, I'd love to connect you with our with like Caleb and Weston, just to ensure that you're getting a good deal. So you can do both. So you can profit off of it as well after you're done enjoying it. Finishing up a flip. I like that, Lucas. Nice. Should I create another account? Not too sure what. Oh, your flight does a day trade. I don't know if you can create another one because they have your social security number. I like that, Bob. Nice, nice. Here we go. We're getting some consolidation on ticker symbol DGAS, getting rejected again by natural gas, so that's good. Everyone go shovel driveways so you can get more stock planted. Okay, that's a nice way to make money, right? It's also not something that I'm very familiar with, but... Oh, that's taking my Subaru on snow to drift. You better film it so you could share some of that footage with us. Hope you're safe, though. I think a couple people were asking what's it called? What I was doing today. I don't think I'm doing anything exciting today. I have a couple meetings, but they're with like different little like influencers and stuff like that. But one of the things that I did yesterday that's pretty exciting is that there's this like I don't know if it's called a club or like a bar or both, but it's a new one that just opened up in Tempe, and I met up with the owner yesterday just to inquire about investing into the business. I've never like invested into like a physical location and stuff like that other than like real estate. So I just wanted to again learn more about it, see what it was about, and regardless if I end up investing in it or not, I just thought it'd be very interesting to like connect with the owner and learn more about like what his mission was with that. So I thought that was kind of like my highlight from yesterday. So let's see. Yeah, so Kevin, to answer your question, I'm currently invested in ticker symbol DGAS. Yep. Notice me, Dad. What's going on, Benjamin? Thank you, Sean. Yeah, I think that's we've inquired about investing in so many different things that like regardless if I choose to invest in it or not, I think one of the cool things about just meeting up with people and learning more about their business is that you like I don't know, you see kind of like maybe if you've ever grown your own business, how they can be relatively similar, or maybe how a partnership by you like investing in their business can be of value. So there's a lot of different things that I think are pretty cool about just like learning more about it. It doesn't mean that you have to invest in it either. If you simply want to learn more about it, then just ask to meet up and stuff like that. All right, here we go. We're pulling back a little bit. So we got a nice little push up. Natural gas is right around that SMA line. So I'm just going to get my order ready just to potentially cut losses. Again, I just would hate to have to hold a little bit longer than I would have to. So I'm going to go back to natural gas, kind of check this out and see where it's at. So When are you going to have another giveaway for someone to hang out? So I do want to remind you guys that if you're enrolled in Learn Plan Profit, you don't have to do anything special. There's no time frame or restriction. As long as you're enrolled and as long as you're not banned, um, we are doing a $500 giveaway this Friday. So when are we going to be doing like another like in-person giveaway and stuff like that? I'm not too sure because February is going to be very packed for us and so is March. So I would just hate to keep someone on the sidelines. I'd rather have it more like, if we do a giveaway, then we can fly you out in like 2 weeks or something like that. TNDM just broke about $47. Have you ever thought of investing in businesses from LPP members? Of course. I've partnered up with a lot of people that do like affiliate marketing that need more capital that are already converting well, or what's it called? What was the other thing? Like a series of stores or different ideas. The difference is like we have access to so many different like entrepreneurs and investors. Like I would have to come up with a really nice and efficient way to filter through a lot of the information, because I love the ideas that you guys have, but sometimes they're so new and they're just ideas that they haven't been able to like be. It's hard for me to determine like if it's going to work or not when I already see like a working system and my capital or our network or the resources that we have available can act as a positive catalyst. Then we choose to partner up with them almost instantly. But yeah, let me know if you guys think that should be something that we should open up. I'd love to have that, but that would just be a huge part of like, it takes so much time to like for me to determine if I want to invest in it or not. George, you're funny. Kevin, that's a good question. I still think that natural gas might still have a little bit more to sell off. Peyton, that's super cool. Bridgestone app, I like that. Shark Tank LPP edition. Yeah, I guess I never thought about it for just Learn Plan Profit members, because I always thought about it for tech butts, and I was like, holy moly, that's like almost 200,000 people. Like, I would need to hire someone full time just to filter through all the like ideas and potential partnerships and stuff like that. So for Learn Plan Profit, it might be a little bit more realistic. The current time frame on my chart is one day, 1 minute. What do you think about blockchain technology? I don't know enough about it to like really share an opinion, because I know whatever I say, like I'll be, yeah. I think it's interesting. I think it's a lot. I think a lot of people maybe think they know more than they actually do about it. How many LPP members are there? I'm not too sure exactly, but yeah, we're a good group though. Was the Flipping Wheels Q&A yesterday? No. The Flipping Wheels Q&A, that's free for our Learn Plan Profit members, is this Friday. So it's this Friday, and I'm going to host a live stream with Weston and Caleb. And if you guys have like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, we're just going to go live, break down deals for you guys, and then kind of like expose a lot of people to like the idea of what it's like to like break down cars, try to find the best deals within the area, just to provide some like insight and stuff like that with a smaller group. What stocks do you love the most right now? I don't say that I love any stock. I'm really intrigued by Tesla, and how I feel like Tesla's like really unique. The stock itself, not necessarily. I mean, I like Elon and I like the company itself, but I feel like Tesla's like a combination of like a technology company and an automotive company, which is like kind of weird. Brody McCoy, LPP Shark Tank, yeah, that could be huge, right? LPP Shark Tank edition. And not even just like investing in your guys' businesses, but like I would just love to be able to like, and people don't see this, but like a huge part, like people think that if I'm not trading, then I should be like working with like our Learn Plan Profit group or just like TechBuds group and stuff like that. But they don't think about like the messages that we have to catch up on, the overall management of like the group. And there's so many different components with such few people, right, that we have as a part of our team, that it's like, wow, these guys like don't do anything, or where are they at and stuff like that. And it's like we're just trying to juggle and trying to stay afloat with all the work that we have going on. So I do apologize if you do think that we're like dropping the ball sometimes, but we're definitely here and we're always looking at the messages being shared. We just, with the different projects we have going on, we have to try to manage both. So watch out for natural gas right here, right around that middle VWAP area. It looks decent enough that it might still continue to downtrend, but just the last time that it did pull back from the SMA line, we got a nice little bounce. So yeah, and it looks like we might be bouncing again. There it goes. Are you still planning on updating Learn Plan Profit this month? So yeah, we're going to be working on filming the videos this month. They might not be available right away from the start of March, but maybe mid-March or towards the end. And we'll announce it as in like once we do update the course. We'll probably let you guys know a week in advance so you guys have time to review it again, and then we'll start adding the new ones. Have you ever thought about going on a podcast like Joe Rogan? No, not necessarily. I feel like it's like one of the biggest podcasts out there. Yeah. Are you going to archive the old course videos? I'm not too sure. I mean, we'll definitely still have them ourselves, but I think we're just going to completely remove it. And the same thing with the Flipping Wheels course. Where can I get access to the Flipping Wheels course? I honestly think the link is in the description of this video. It says like flippingwheels.net or something like that. But I would, before anybody chooses to enroll, I want you guys to like know what it's like, because they have live calls every single day, kind of like we have our live trading. And I want you to first experience and see if you resonate well with Weston and Caleb, who are the two mentors. So each one goes live and breaks down deals, talks about what they're investing in and stuff like that. So how do you choose to cut losses on DGAS? I like this one. So, Austin, what I'm really focusing on right now is for there to be a break of pattern on, ticker symbol DGAS. I'm currently invested in DGAS, which is the opposite of, natural gas or UGAS. Natural gas was showing signs of an uptrend. It was now getting rejected by the SMA line. So if we start to see that, and I don't mean by just touching the SMA line, but if I start to see that the overall direction begins to change and this thing begins to show signs of an uptrend, I don't want to take part, right, of it, because the more that natural gas goes up, the more that DGAS sells off. So there's only an amount and a limit that I want to like risk before I decide to cut losses. So if the pattern that I see right now is that I see natural gas trending down, that's the pattern that I see. I see it getting rejected by the SMA line, and I see this thing potentially going right back down here. That's what I see, and that's what I'm looking for. If I see that there's a break of pattern and that it begins to break above here and begins to show signs of like this pattern right here where it begins to show signs of an uptrend, that's a break of pattern to me. So then that's when I would decide to cut losses. There's two ways of doing that as well. So if you don't want to do it necessarily when there's a break of pattern, like when I would try to wait for a break of pattern, I tend to risk more with like, instead of having a max 1 to 2% stop loss, sometimes it could be a little bit more. So if you're someone that's a little bit more conservative or that's trading with a dollar amount that they don't feel comfortable with, or a larger dollar amount, then maybe sticking to a max percentage loss would make more sense. This is just another way of doing it that I used to really do it with swing trading. So what's your biggest breakthrough that brought your P&L from red to green? I don't know if you guys remember, but I was down like, I don't know if it was my biggest, but I was down like $2,200 or $2,500, and then I recovered like 1,200 or something like that, and I ended the day at 760 in the red. So I felt like that was a nice little comeback. But I've also been down like 1 or 2 thousand, and then it fully goes to green. Um, but yeah, that's more when I was swing trading. What's going on, Sergio? What's up? What's up? Who is the most handsome LPP trader? I'm not sure. This video is blurry. It shouldn't be. You might want to check the stream quality on your... Yeah, no, we're good here. We're all green. I like that, Colby. Super happy to hear that. That's what I've been noticing. There's been a lot more because the market's kind of like, I don't want to say the market's fully back, but it's been a lot more stable and less volatile. And I have seen a lot more people get back into swing trading, and you're one of them. You're one that I was aware that because of your transition back to school and stuff like that, that it was just something that you're going to have to accommodate. So I'm really happy to hear that it's going well for you. How many properties do you own? So as of right now, I only have 2 now. So I have this one, and then I have one other one. I sold the neighboring house that I had to my other house, and then I had 2 condos. So I've had the blessing to own 5 properties. Did you break down the /CL ticker? Yes, Cody, but I will do it once again for you. So pretty much one of the things that we talked about is that there's a very consistent uptrend pattern showing, as long as it stays true to this, it looks like it's, reacting as a resistance to the top VWAP, and the SMA line is a support. Makes pretty good sense. Again, that's the pattern. If it breaks its pattern, then you have to cut losses, or that would make sense. And it's UWT, the one that's actively trending up. So that's kind of what we talked about very briefly. Okay, I didn't know that. So yeah, you always have to go to the settings and take the resolution off auto and his live videos. Okay. Okay, so the biggest breakthrough concept, so if you're talking about a best practice that helped me out to be a little bit more consistent, is the idea of not being greedy. The idea that when I realized that my account size that I was trading with, because I think it's hard to think about the future when you're so focused on just learning about, when you're learning how to ride a bike, you're not necessarily thinking on how you can become and the steps that you do now can one day maybe get you to a point to become a professional BMX rider, right? Which is a professional bike rider. But just think about it. If you were to ride a bike and your whole focus would be to learn the proper way on how to ride a bike effectively and all that stuff, to not discourage yourself, to not fall, to not, get in a horrible accident, to ever discourage yourself, to ever get back into it again, then you might be more bound and more prone to become a BMX rider because your best practices are in response to your desire of wanting to do this for maybe the rest of your life. Same thing when it comes down to trading. I realized that my account size that I was trading with wasn't what it could be, when I'm 30, when I'm 40. So if I focus on just consistently growing my account and I slowly and get better, then it would make sense on how I could possibly one day get to a point where even if I am making let's say 2% a week, how that could be something that I could potentially live off of one day. I knew that I was someone that was extremely hardworking and consistent. I knew I wasn't the best, but I knew that hopefully that played out in my favor, and thankfully it has. So it's not I think it has to do with refining a little bit of everything, but I think a lot of it has to do with the proper mindset in making sure that your actions are in response to what your goals are. So if your goal is to one day buy a house, that you're aware of what it is that you need to have and qualify to buy a house, and then you work towards it because you understand what plan you need to formulate to get to that point. So obviously there's a lot of different variables for trading, which makes it a little bit more difficult. but doesn't mean that it's impossible. Of course, Grayson. Thank you. That was a very open-ended response. I hope that I at least answered it. So I have a tendency to respond with a very open-ended response. I don't know why I talk so much. I like that, Peyton. Thank you for sharing. I'm hating this consolidation. Yeah, it could be very frustrating. Yeah, we'll have to see if it actually ends up selling off. Did you finance or buy your properties cash? Any issues with the mortgage or the 1099 income? So I don't know if you guys remember, and John, I don't know how long you've been part of our group, but one of the biggest parts that I was like super like, and I think this was the biggest thing that like separated me from like the traditional entrepreneur, is that I was very open about having a normal job, right? I can't say it was a 9 to 5 because I only worked part-time, but I worked for Verizon. It's a telecommunications store. And before that, I worked for T-Mobile in California. It provided me with, for anybody that works within those stores, especially in the earlier years, they paid extremely well for the time that I was there. It was commission based, and like your hourly rate could be anywhere from like $12 to $15, and then my commission checks were sometimes anywhere from like $3,000 to $6,000. There's one commission check after Christmas that I remember was $9,000, and again I was like 18, 19, 20, super conservative. So you guys could only imagine that I was watching every dime. I was making decent money, and I was trying my best to. I was aware of what it is that I needed to qualify for a house, because I got in contact with a real estate agent. They told me what my credit score needed to be. I got a secured credit card, what my income needed to be at, and then making sure I had enough money saved. So, I mean, I was a W-2 employee, and on top of that, I was investing in cars, investing in the stock market, trying to build up my capital, and I had different kind of things that I was trying to juggle to stay afloat, and then on top of that, kind of save a little bit more money than the average person. And that's what helped me out. This last house was the only house that I bought as being self-employed. So I had to put 40% down, just to make sure that there's enough equity in the house, so it's less of a risk for the lender. Other than that, the two condos that I bought those cash, and the other house that I bought with a conventional loan. I heard that you were AZ's top salesman for Verizon. They go on a monthly basis. So I have a little plaque from Verizon and the location that I was at, that I was the top sales rep for that quarter. And I was like third in the company or something like that. So for that quarter, but also again, I was part-time. So our quotas, for those that again are in the market in that niche, were a little bit different. So it's much easier for me to exceed my quota by being an aggressive like sales rep and stuff like that, in comparison to being full-time. Searches Verizon jobs nearby. And again, it's like, I think it's great. There's a huge negative connotation with like, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are like, screw 9 to 5s, all that stuff. I'm just like, why not just work twice as hard as everybody else, and have a normal job that pays well, that you feel valued at, that you have fun while doing it, you're learning new things, you're networking. They paid for part of my school. They have like tuition reimbursement. Still a lot of benefits, healthcare, all that stuff. And just work twice or 3 times as hard as the average person. I think that's something that like Gary Vee says, right? That people always try to come up with crazy solutions, how to live a little bit better. It's just like, just work twice, 3 times as hard. And if you have extra time, then utilize that time. Like, don't be lazy. Just make sure that you're an action taker and that you're consistent. There's a quote that says like, there's no talent here, just hard work. And I think that I honestly don't think I'm talented in like many different things. It takes me a lot of time to like learn about new markets and stuff like that. I'm just someone that's like extremely passionate, and I think that has really helped me out. So here we go. That was my little tangent. Now we're back up on DGAS. I'm gonna, instead of selling, I'm now going to be buying, right? And I'm going to buy, we'll go here with, okay. I like that, solid one. I have 3 jobs and work 12 hours per day. And a lot of people would be like, that's not like enjoying life and stuff like that. And again, there's just so many different reasons, like people, and I get that. Like, and again, if I could speak about it, like I know a lot of you guys might be like, well, Ricky, you don't have enough experience like to develop or have your own opinion because you're so young. And again, I 100% understand and I respect that. But based on my experience, like I understand both sides. I understand both sides as in like people that are not just driven in the monetary aspect. The first example, everyone in my family, from my like close family, were very motivated in like whatever it was that they were pursuing. And then I met like my ex-girlfriend who's like an amazing girl, that wanted to be a teacher for kids with special needs. And she opened my eyes and like how like she didn't care about the money. She came from a wealthy family, or a well-off family, and they raised them to like not care about the money, to just pursue whatever it is that they wanted, that they're passionate about, and to let that be their kind of like life. And I thought that was like a beautiful approach, because there's so many people that, and there's so many examples of people that are extremely wealthy and extremely well off but are extremely unhappy. And there's people that might be living in a box, but they're with their family and they enjoy every minute of their life. So I think it's just being open-minded to like the idea that if you enjoy to hustle and work, I literally, if I don't do any work within the day, I feel completely unfulfilled, because that's how I'm wired. There's some people that just love to relax and spend time with their family and you know whatever it is that they want to do. Um, and that is self-fulfilling for them. Like, it doesn't matter what other people think. Ultimately, everything it is that I'm doing is an effort to provide a good foundation for my future family. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. If your thing is to be and just spend a lot of time with your family, and that's where the value is provided, then 100%. As long as you're with the people you care about and they love you and you love them, it doesn't matter what other people think. And that's something that I've grown to understand. And it's just like trying to be open-minded on both sides of the spectrum. Yeah, sorry for going so much on a tangent. Here we go. So SGMO. I like that. Nice little uptrend pattern trading between the EMA line and the top VWAP, right? That's a little sketchy. I could see that it can potentially reverse back up. I like the MACD, I like the RSI. I would just give it a little bit more time. And just look at the last times that it's done this. Just look at previous patterns, see how it reacted, pushed up, pulls back. It takes time, consolidates, and then begins to rally. Same thing with over here. So I think we could give it a little bit more time, but I'm happy you're pointing it out. The only thing I want to remind you is that it is a downward pattern, and there's a form of risk investing in those specific patterns. But if you're okay with it, you do you and have fun. John, you're a freaking beast then. 9 to 5 in IT jobs, I love that. 9 years, love that. 7-day work weeks, I love the hustle. Day trading, eBay seller, and Amazon seller. You're a beast. And again, it's just as long as you feel fulfilled and you're doing what you want with your life, that's what matters. I would actually say it's probably more wrong for someone that does extremely well, but that's extremely not happy and their family's not happy. I feel like that is more sad than maybe someone that doesn't do extremely well, but that's extremely, extremely happy with their family. I think a perfect example is like how my grandparents were raised. My grandparents like grew up in a farm, extremely poor, like with like 12 kids or something like that in Mexico. And they were poor and they would struggle like every single day to like have food and provide food for the table. My dad would give me all these different stories, but they were so happy with one another, and they raised a great family, and I'm an offspring of my dad, and it's cool. it's hard because there's so many people that are so opinionated in today's world. And trust me, like I think we all fall under that category from time to time, like we're human. But as long as you know that like what's most important in life, like once you fall off of social media, once you fall off of like and realize that it does not matter, like, and I guess I'm a bad example of this because of like my YouTube channel, and holy crap, do you guys come on, my YouTube channel and my following, and there's a certain image that I like, I shared to, you know, just to like be more attractive and stuff like that to people, but like ultimately like what matters is like the people you care about and stuff like that. And yeah. Here we go. One thing that I noticed, and I was just about to get ready to sell, is that the MACD was beginning to descend. The progression at the rate that it was pushing up was starting to slow down. So that was something that I probably should have reacted a little bit quicker on. So I'm just going to give it a little bit more time and kind of go from there. But I have my position ready, and we'll kind of go from there. Hey, damn, you guys are freaking beasts. What do you think the pivoting point of your success is? I don't know. That's really, you can't quote me on this, but I think when I realized that I didn't care really about other people's opinions about like what it was that I was doing, I became very like just self-focused on like working for like not working for myself, but like pursuing what I wanted, and not caring about like if it was like what my parents wanted or if it was like what my friends wanted me to do. It was what I wanted to do. It's what I had a passion for, and then I just did it, and I didn't make any excuses for it. That's when I saw that there was a change in my kind of like attitude and the way that I carried myself, and knowing like what I was valued. When you don't allow other people to like determine like what you're worth, right? And again, I'm still trying to figure everything out. Like I still make a ton of mistakes. I just don't view them necessarily as mistakes all the time. Just little like setbacks, right? But it just comes with time that I think I will mature more. There's a lot of areas in my life that I think I still need to mature in, and my time will come. But as of now, I'm just trying to have fun with what I do. So Ricky, do you ever have fear of trading, and how do you overcome it? Do you mean like, so I've thought about this before, like what if one day like it's not even about the market or anything like that. I'm here like one thing that I've thought about is like what if one day I just don't know how to read patterns? I don't know why. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about like, wait, what if like I don't know how to like, I don't know if you guys that may like, I tend to overthink things a lot. I used to do it like very bad before. And it was a very poor kind of like mindset and stuff like that. Yeah, literally I will get like a little anxiety attack, and it's just like, what if like what if I can't come up with like video ideas for YouTube, or what if I just can't like sell this car that I just bought, like it's just impossible, or come up with any new ideas, or get more views on YouTube or stuff like that. There's like, for whatever it is that you are pursuing, there's always going to be pressure and the fear of potentially not being able to continue to do it. It was just overthinking it, and then the whole thing is confidence, right? And then you reassure yourself with like managing risk, managing your position size, making sure that you feel comfortable with what it is that you are trading, and kind of taking it that route. I think that's with everything. If you feel like you fall out of, like, let's say you take a vacation for a week and you're just like completely out of the loop, might be difficult for you to maybe get back into it right away. It doesn't mean that it's impossible though, right? But like, you'll slowly and progressively ease back into it because you're open-minded. You understand that you took some time off, and jumping right back into it is going to be maybe a little difficult. So I just sold. That was cool. I'm not going to look at can you guys let me know what the you guys can check out the P&L and I won't look at it, just so you guys know where I'm at. And my goal for today is I want to hit $1,000. I haven't hit that in the last week. So check it out. I actually don't know if it shows my P&L. So if it doesn't show it, just tell me. So I'm not going to look. Ready? All right. Did it show it or no? Oh, okay. So I'm going to cover this. Does it show it? Oh, shoot. I saw it. Sorry. I don't know how I was gonna just have to start clicking everywhere. I should have had someone here. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm up 500. Not bad, right? Not bad. I couldn't resist. Wait, I just noticed that I've been live for about an hour. I did not notice that at all. I thought I was just, wow. Okay, we'll close out the live stream. Sorry for boring you guys for so long. Yeah. Shoot. Okay. I've also been up, so I'll show you guys one last thing, right? Just so we could close it out and you guys could see it accordingly. Here we go. For those that want to check that out, you know, the buys, the sells, buys, and all that stuff that we took today. Great, makes sense. I actually took a screenshot of my buys and sells yesterday because I didn't I didn't check my P&L. I also, like, after my meeting yesterday with like the owner of the bar that we were checking out, came back, worked with our team a little bit, and I was so tired. I took a nap, and then by the time I woke up and caught up on all our work, my P&L no longer showed on TOS because it was too late. It moved on to the next day, but my trades were still shown. So for those that wanted to calculate and do all the math, I was going to share it with you guys for those that cared about it. But bird box, don't die. Oh, I know, right? I died. I guess I would have died, right, with the bird box challenge. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun kind of watching me trade today. I felt like it was super easy. I kind of liked kind of what we did today. I opened and answered. I did some technical analysis, answered a couple open-ended questions, talked about so many other different things than just trading. I hope that that's okay with you guys. I feel like that's a huge part of like who it is that I am. I like to speak my mind about like what I do and how I feel about you know, different markets or just like mindset and stuff like that. And I hope that that's okay with you guys. But I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope you guys have an absolute just amazing and blessed rest of your Tuesday. Have fun with what it is that you guys are doing, and just let's take it easy. We're doing it with the people that we care about, and we're here to empower one another. If you see that anyone within our group, I don't care if it's part of Learn Plan Profit or TechBot Solutions, if they're just like being negative and bringing other people down, you guys know that I will remove like anybody that subjugates others. I don't care if you paid for the course. If you're not a positive person within our group, then you know, being a part of our, like, you paid for the course, being a part of our Discord chat is a privilege. And I hope that you guys understand that, and the overall environment that we host is so much more important to me than someone that's like a good trader. I would rather have a bunch of people that are empowering and uplifting rather than someone that's good but brings other people down. And I hope that that's something that you guys can agree with, as I find that to be much more beneficial long term. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for your time. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.